Hi, I'm Christy Henry, and today I will be sharing my reflective portfolio for Educational Administration Preliminary Credential Program. Here on the home page, I have a brief biography at the bottom outlining my teaching career when I started in 2005 until today. Under part 1, I have my resume, which outlines my qualifications, my professional experience, and my work-related experience. I also have my leadership platform paper, which I covered leadership in schools, school-centered leadership, my role as a school leader, empowering those you lead, and striving for excellence in leadership. And this paper was really great for me to self-reflect on what my personal leadership style and what I strive to accomplish in my leadership role. So I appreciated doing that assignment. Moving over to part 2, we have the capsule standards, starting with standard 1, development and implementation of a shared vision. I have my reflection here and my 2 artifacts. The first one is from EDAD 610, which is my context map. And I chose this in particular because it really outlines the mission and vision of the school and the school community general background and how we involve the community in our school. I really enjoyed doing this assignment and found it very rewarding. In researching the mission and vision of my school and rewriting those to the standards I think that they should be, I also found that our school has core principles, which I think are very valuable in adding to the mission and vision statement. This demonstrates 1B, developing a shared vision and community commitment. Okay, my second artifact is from EDAD 618A, is the fishbone diagram. And I chose this because it was an example of an assignment that had me really look at a student-centered vision of an equity gap of why something is happening and looking at all the root causes that could potentially happen for this situation to occur. This demonstrated learning in 1A, developing a student-centered vision of teaching and learning. Keeping the focus on the student at all times allows for the leader to keep a perspective of why they do what they do. Okay, moving on to standard 2, instructional leadership. Education leaders shape a collaborative culture of teaching and learning informed by professional standards and focused on student and professional growth. I have my reflection here. And I chose 2 artifacts. The first was a case study from EDAD 614. And in this case study, I looked at one of the leaders at my school and evaluated her position and what she does in her role. It was very interesting to me to see all of the work that she does and how she facilitates so many different learning communities, professional learning communities, to get things done at the school. It really helped me to determine what kind of leader I strive to be. And I was able to learn strategies and methods for how she runs a lot of meetings, which greatly improved my leadership skills. I also chose from EDAD 624B, Cal APA Cycle 3, Step 4, the reflective narrative. In this assignment, this had me really reflect on my abilities to support a teacher and help her improve her practice, which demonstrates 2C, supporting teachers to improve practice. I took notice of specific ways that I could frame questions to the teacher and thought about how I could better construct questions to help her develop a deeper level of thinking. This demonstrates 2A, a personal and professional learning. Okay, moving on to standard 3. Management and learning environment. Education leaders manage the organization to cultivate a safe and productive learning and working environment. I have my reflection here and my two articles to demonstrate this learning. At the bottom, I have 616B, assignment 1. And in this assignment, I researched the low performing student block grant at my school site and how that money is spent and how we got that money. It was covered at a governing board meeting that I attended. This demonstrated an understanding of 3D, fiscal and human resources. And my next artifact here is from 616A as the week 5 scenario. And in this particular class, we had a lot of these scenarios that we would have to evaluate as a school leader, what we would do. And this one, this piece of evidence was an example of a scenario I evaluated, completed for a maintenance situation that occurred at a school site. And it's an example of 3A, managing organizational systems and human resources. All right, moving on to capsule 4, family and community engagement. I have my reflection here and my two artifacts. The first is from 618B. It's the week 3 blog that I wrote. Looking at ways to make schools more equitable for all students is a challenge that all educators face. And it really starts with building relationships, trust, and having empathy. In my blog post about Pedro Noguera's TED Talk, I explored how impactful the relationship is between families and the school. This is an example of 4A, parent and family engagement. My second artifact is from 610, EDAD 610. It's my week 3 journal reflection. And I learned how important it is to understand the community in which your school operates. With the growing Hispanic demographic in the United States, it's become evident to me that schools and teachers need to work diligently to establish community partnerships that embrace this culture. This is an example of 4B community partnerships. All right, moving to standard 5, ethics and integrity. So here is my reflection and my two artifacts. The first I chose is from EDAD 618B, the Equity Action Project presentation. In this, we were asked to create a presentation to share orally with the class that addressed an equity issue at our school site. This project demonstrates 5A, reflective practice. I had to dig deep into some staggering data and look for the root causes and develop an action plan for what I could do to address it. And the second artifact is from 616A, a week 6 FRISC document. In 616A, I was asked to evaluate a teacher's actions and create a FRISC document reflecting the actions that I would have taken to address the issue. This assignment demonstrates 5B, ethical decision-making. I appreciated the format of FRISC, how FRISC works and how it helps, these letters help you to identify and communicate issues to staff. It is straightforward and provides evidence and gives clear areas for improvement and outlines expectations for the future. Moving on to standard 6, external context and policy. I have my reflection here. And the first assignment I chose is from 616B, assignment 6. I was asked to interview the CFO and get their input on budgetary questions involving my school and how those are communicated out to stakeholders. It was a very enlightening assignment as I learned how decisions are made, shared with others, and influenced by stakeholders. In this interview, he specifically mentions how the LCAP is impacted by parent involvement through surveys and how the budget overview for parents is completed each year to show transparency for families on budgetary policies, expenditures, and plans. This demonstrates 6A, understanding and communicating policy. And my last artifact is from 618B, the final considerations paper. In this class, we were asked to answer the following question. After this course and listening to your colleagues' equity action plans, what would you name as the biggest challenge for educational leaders over the next 20 years? So through reflection and consideration, I developed my response that described making education equitable for all students through advocating for equity and facilitating policies and procedures that support that. This is an example of 6B, professional influence. And that is my reflective portfolio. Thank you so much.